Hi everyone, this is Anita. Welcome back to Guide to PNC System. Let's learn out of sequence transaction today. An out of sequence transaction occurs when a transaction is initiated after a policy transaction which is already bound, but its effective date is actually before that bound transaction. In other words, you are making a change that takes effect earlier than a change that was already locked in. This can happen in cases like policy change, rewrite, reinstatement, or during cancellation. And there are two flavors to it: out of sequence with conflict and out of sequence without conflict. Out of sequence without conflict is when transactions are processed according to their effective dates in sequence and the backdated change doesn't interfere with any later changes. For example, if you add a new vehicle on a backdated basis, but it doesn't change any previously modified fields, the system just accepts it smoothly. Out of sequence with conflict is when you are changing the same field that was already modified in a later transaction. For instance, if you increase a coverage limit on a backdated basis and it conflicts with a later change to that same coverage, the system will need you to confirm which value to keep. Basically, it asks the user to decide how to resolve the conflict. Why does this happen? Because real life insurance scenarios are not always neat and tidy. Customers report changes later, endorsements have to be backdated sometimes, and compliance updates sometimes need to be applied retroactively. So, out of sequence transactions are just the system way of handling the real world timing of policy changes. Pro tips: never try to do out of sequence rewrite or reinstatement or policy change after a renewal transaction, because changes can be done within effective policy period, and when policy renews it starts a new policy period or a new term and the previous term just expires. It's all about out of sequence transaction. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share and subscribe to Guide to PNC System.